What is going on, everyone? Jelly from A Huge Disaster here, and today we're feeling a little bit nostalgic. We're thinking about, the old games that we used to play as kids and reliving those kind of moments. So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 childhood video games. Now, just a little quick disclaimer for everyone out there, just so you don't get your knickers in a knot, this is my top 10 childhood video games, and this is going to be ranging from, the 90s to the early 2000s, so everyone's is going to be a little bit different depending on if you played console, computer, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, it completely depends, or if you were just like a Game Boy guy. But anyway, let's dig straight into it, shall we? Number 10, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. Croc, who even remembers this game? I do, because it was like I played the crap out of this game. Going back into it and listening to the sound effects and going over the old boss fights, I was just like, I can't believe I forgot some of those fights, but I will never forget playing that game. And it was a bit of a toss between Croc and then there was Croc 2. But I just remember in Croc 2, I got to this like ant kind of stage and that just killed it for me. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know what Croc was, you basically just rock up in a basket, you're an abandoned crocodile guy, to these, the Gobbos, which are these little furry guys, and they basically take you in, and then they get taken over by this big bad boss guy, and then you need to go save the king. So that's what it's all about. Classic early 90s, or late 90s, I suppose. Classic video game storyline, but Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, what a game. Number 9, everyone's played this, or one of the games in this series, but this one in particular just kind of, I don't know if it was the soundtrack or what it is, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, what a game. PlayStation 1, it was a killer. I remember just smashing out so many hours of this game, and I mean, as a kid, I would use the cheat code so you could do a jump off the ramp and you'd be flying for days and just doing kick flips and somersaults and whatever the moves are now. But I wasn't much of a sports kind of gaming guy, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was great. I mean, I also played a few other ones like Amped and stuff like that, the snowboarding ones. But Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, what a game. Neversoft, everyone remembers it. Everyone's probably played it. You can probably relate with that one. Now, number 8, this starts to get really tricky trying to layer each of these into, their numbers. But number 8, Super Mario World. I played the hell out of that game. Out of all the Super Mario Worlds, I played a little bit of Yoshi Island. What was that, number 2? But number 1, I just will never forget that game and going through those stages and then that last boss. And it's just those kind of games that you're just never going to forget. Like, I've never really been a Mario fan myself, but Super Mario World was just there. It was creative. It was just a whole new level of Mario, and I freaking loved it. Now, staying on the theme of Mario, number 7, Mario Kart 64. I played the shit out of that. Like, I never myself had a 64, so there's a lot of games that you're not probably going to see here from the 64, but Mario Kart 64, I remember going to my mate's house and playing it religiously. We loved playing that game, especially doing the battle mode where you had the 3 balloons and you had to pop each one, and it was kind of like, whoever's got all theirs popped first lost. But holy shit, I loved that game. Mario Kart 64, like, there was a few other racing games, but I don't know what it was about Mario Kart 64, but it did the job well. Number 6, let's take it back. This is an old one, but made a huge impact on me. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega. Holy crap, what a game. I mean, I sucked at it. I couldn't probably get past the first or second world, but there was something about those sounds and Sonic as the mascot, like this guy, this blue hedgehog, that just, it worked. Like, it really just dragged me in. And after that, like, as a kid, I used to love to pretend to be Batman and Spider-Man and all that. But after playing Sonic, I was like, nah, when I'm older, I want to be Sonic. He's the guy. And then, of course, going from that, I started watching the animated series. I can't remember what it's called, but then there was another one, Sonic Underground, and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, you can't go wrong. You cannot have a list of childhood games without Sonic in there. All right, top 5, number 5, here we go. Let's head into PC gaming. RuneScape, holy crap, who hasn't played RuneScape? It is still a huge thing today, but I'll never forget playing RuneScape for the first time. It was the first, MMORPG I've ever got into, being super young. Like, this is kind of around that time when I was just starting high school, and you meet new people who would talk about stuff like that. And in that year, there was this talk about this game, RuneScape. So jumped into it, had a look, and holy crap, I was into it. I remember so many things of this game. Like, one of my biggest memories, probably because it hurt so goddamn much, was accidentally going into the wilderness and dying and having someone take all of my rune armor. And I think I had a few rune trimmed stuff. I can't quite remember. I mean, it was a long time ago, but my God, I was crushed. I think I probably cried even. Like, that killed me. I didn't want to play the game ever again. Like, I felt like I'd lost everything. But in saying that, I loved every minute of playing that game besides that 1 minute. That 1 minute was terrible, but it was awesome. Getting gold and, fishing up lobbies and all that kind of stuff, chopping trees, creating fires. I don't know what it was. It was just simple fun, but it worked so goddamn well. Number 4, this one, I guess it like kind of started it all for me. This, like, when I think about the first video game I ever played, for some reason I always just go straight to this. Donkey Kong Country. Now, I couldn't choose between 1 and 2 because they were both kind of equally, like, influential on me, but I probably would say 2 I liked a lot more than 1, but 1 was just like that last boss fight and that music on that boss fight, just like it just sticks with me. It is so good. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country, I love it. Like, I still play it to this day. This year I've been playing it again. I probably play it every couple of years and go through from start to end. It was such an iconic game for Nintendo, and what they did and how they did it, it was amazing. If you've never played Donkey Kong Country 1 or 2, I mean, there's 3 as well, but 3 was kind of like, it's on that downhill slope. But 1 and 2, if you haven't, come on, just pick up an emulator, pick it up, like, somehow play it, do yourself a favor. It is just classic. It is iconic, and for Rare as well. Like, you gotta do it. Number 3, for all of you Xbox fans out there, Halo Combat Evolved. Holy shit. I cannot even begin to describe what kind of impact this had on my childhood. Like, I think it was a Christmas morning. We go down to the tree, me and my big sister, and we open up this box, and holy shit, it's an Xbox. It's an Xbox. Like, what the hell? So excited. We turn it on, we put Halo in, and me and my sister playing co-op. It was great. Like, best memories. And from that day, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I'm a Halo fanboy, because it was just like this thing, this game, it completely took me by surprise. I never even expected the goddamn thing, but Halo was such a huge part for so many people, and Combat Evolved, like, following that story, and the first time you come across the flood and just the warthog race at the end, or not race, but to survive at the end, and just like that game, that nailed it. Like, and then to follow through, I mean, with Halo 2, but look, Halo, what a game. Everyone's played it, I'm sure, unless you're like just a solid PlayStation from the beginning, like, fuck Microsoft, but Number 2, now the spot between number 2 and number 1 was freaking nearly impossible, both coming out at the same year and just being such iconic games to the console that it would come out on. But number 2, Spyro. Oh my God. I'm so excited for the remaster later this year, but Spyro was just one of those games that you, as a kid, you just dug into, and you just loved it, and burning the sheep and running around and gliding and the little challenges. And again, it's the sound effects. You remember them. You're never going to forget them. But Spyro was just, I don't know what it was, but it nailed it. It freaking nailed it. Now, I'm tossing up between doing another top 10 childhood video games, or maybe separating it into sort of like top 10 consoles and top 10 PC and that as childhood games. But a couple of bonus games for you real quick. Jet Set Radio. I mean, that game basically got me into rollerblading and stuff. Like, it was just spot on. Medieval. I couldn't finish that game. I think I got up to a scarecrow kind of world. I can't remember, but that game was spooky. Like, that game was super spooky, but I freaking loved it. Pokemon Yellow. I know there's no Pokemon in this list in the top 10. There probably will be in another one, but Pokemon Yellow was the first Pokemon game I played, and I remember getting it for my trip to Queensland when I was probably about 10 or 11 maybe, and just smashing out Pokemon on this drive all the way up to Queensland, which was like 20 odd hours. It was the bomb. And this one, just another quick one, just a quickie, Zoombinis. For anyone who's ever played Zoombinis, you know what I'm talking about. Those sounds, those puzzles, as a child, I won that game and played it so goddamn much, but that's a couple of little quick bonus ones for you before we go into number 1. Everyone's played it. I'm sure they have, and if they haven't played the original, they goddamn played the remaster, but Crash Bandicoot Warped, number 3. Now, I could have said number 1 or 2, but number 3 was when it was a whole new level. It was amazing. I can remember every single one of those stages back to back, unlike Spyro, but going through each world and then to the boss, and then you go to like the new kind of biome stuff, and then you do those and the new boss, and then there was the whole secret world and time. It really added achievements into the game before achievements were a thing, like trying to get like all the time trial things done and all the crystals to unlock the bonus stages and get that 110% done. I've probably sunk more hours into Crash Bandicoot as a child than any other game ever, because it was just like, I get lost for words talking about it. Number 1, Crash Bandicoot 3. What a game. Anyway, that is my list, my top 10 childhood games. When I think of childhood games, they're the ones that pop into my head first and have the most meaning to me behind them. But I'd love to hear what you guys played. What were your top 10 childhood games? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a chat about it. Let's discuss some of the games that I've talked about, or some that I might have missed that you're like, how could you miss that? But anyway, till next time everyone, have a good one.